What up, y'all? It's your man D Real once again. The story involves Spider-Man and a Herald of Galactus. Be real with D Real. What up and welcome, y'all. It's another Be Real with D Real, where edutainment is what I do. Like I said, it's Saturday. What I think I decided I'm gonna start doing on Saturday is giving y'all a little bit of comic book history. And it can depend on what I'm feeling that day, where I'm feeling like going or whatever. But I'm gonna share with y'all some interesting stuff. Now, for those of you that are in the know or know anything about comics, y'all know about the being known as Galactus. He's cosmic level. He's super powerful. He, at one point, he ate whole planets to sustain his hunger, or rather consume the energy of planets to be more technical. But yeah, which gave him a vast variety of abilities and powers and things and resources. Not to mention, he needed folks to find planets for him so that he can consume them. And he had these beings that he called heralds. And these heralds, he would give a small portion of his power. Now, a small portion, just bear this in mind, a small portion of Galactus's power is enough to wreak havoc on nearly an entire planet. See where I'm going? Now, before we go all the way there, let's get into what we're supposed to get into with the usuals. Comment, like, and subscribe to the Be Real with D Real page so that you can get alerts when new material like this comes out. Now, as I was saying, Galactus, powerful being, he makes heralds. One of these heralds came to Earth and ran afoul of who? Not Dr. Doom, not the Hulk, not even the Juggernaut. Spider-Man. Yeah, your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. Now, this story takes place, appropriately enough, in the pages of The Amazing Spider-Man, issues number 269 and number 270 back in 1985. If we're being honest, this is probably the biggest example of plot armor ever, of writer favoritism, however you want to look at it. Man, in real life, no way Spider-Man is beating Firelord. If we look at all of the things Firelord can do and has done and who he's done them against, and then we look at all of the things that Spider-Man has done and who he's done them against, I think they will pale in comparison to a Herald of Galactus. Now, Firelord he's a Herald of Galactus, so he has that kind of power, but also he's a Xandarian, so he's kind of smug. He's kind of an arrogant fellow. He walks around with his nose in the air, but he's a hero called Firelord. And pretty much with a name like Firelord, you can guess what Firelord does power-wise. But take that to a cosmic degree. He's the Human Torch on steroids. Anyway, at some point in this comic, he runs afoul of Spider-Man. Him and Spider-Man get the scuffling. Now, Spider-Man can only run interference type techniques or dodging and ducking, because fighting somebody like Galactus, or rather a Galactus Herald, all he can do is maintain sort of a defensive posture. Then at the same time, Spider-Man's trying to find a way to neutralize Firelord without hurting people. At one point, He goes him down into the subway tunnels and tries to get him hit by a subway train. But instead of, anything like that happening, Firelord raises the heat in his body and melts right through the subway train like it was butter. Spider-Man beat Firelord? Wait, Firelord? Now, Spider-Man hitches a ride out of the subway on another train, but Firelord, getting lost in the tunnels, is like, I ain't got time for this, and burns his way up to the top. Him and Spider-Man fight for a little while longer, and meanwhile, while all of this is going on, an alert goes up. Firelord is on a rampage in the city. So what happens in New York when there's a super villain that's really powerful rampaging through the city? 9 times out of 10, a superhero comes to intercept it. But since it's Firelord, they don't just send any group of superheroes. They send, yep, you guessed it, Earth's mightiest heroes, the Avengers, are on their way. Now, Spider-Man gets to a point where he's like, bumpy, I'm tired of all of these delaying tactics. Plus, it's putting more people in danger because Firelord is getting a little more rambunctious and getting a little more comfortable using his powers in creative ways. So Spider-Man lures him to an abandoned not an abandoned construction site, but a construction site, and tells all the people at the construction site, get out of here. It's a crazy mofo coming, and I gotta stop it. They comply. Spider-Man and Firelord get into this battle right here, and Firelord has got some, his little code of honor where he feel like, okay, you didn't put no respect on my name, little Spider-Man person. So now I'm gonna have to crush you like the insect that you really is. And as soon as they get at it, they get to swinging, and Spider-Man, for some strange reason, is just too quick. He's just too swift. He's just too agile. He's just too pretty with it. And he's ducking and dodging, and he's throwing the ollie rope-a-dope on Firelord and swinging and swinging. He's like, I don't care what happened. I'm just going to keep dropping these dogs. I'm going to keep dropping these dogs. I'm going to keep dropping them and dropping them and dropping them and dropping them. Let me just finish telling the story. I'm going to go ahead and finish telling the story. All of a sudden, a hand hits him on his shoulder. It's like, back up, son. And he turns around, and it's Captain America and the Avengers. Ain't no need to keep swinging. You done laid him out. Spider-Man. Yeah, Spider-Man laid out a Herald of Galactus. So, way back in 1985, when I read this story, I learned 2 things. One, Spider-Man has got a lot more strength in his dogs than we've seen in previous comics. Number 2, it just reinforces what I always say about characters in comics. Anybody can get it. All right? Firelord, a Herald of Galactus. You thinking it's Spider-Man. Oh, this is a walk in the park. I'm about to dust this kid off. No. Anybody can get it. Spider-Man at the max, at his max, is in like maybe his strength range, 10, 15 tons tops. Firelord, way more than that. He's taking shots from Hercules and Thor. So that puts him at least in the 100-ton range, somewhere around there. Then we add on top of it, you done been dipped and dripped in the power cosmic. Oh my goodness, you should be a handful for anybody, including Spider-Man, which if you go back and you read the comics, Spider-Man was busy, but the reason he was because he was trying not to get anybody hurt with his antics and trying to contain Firelord. So we know if you get mad enough in Marvel Comics and you got some kind of strength level, you might actually be able to knock out the Hulk or Thor on a good day. These are the facts. How did you enjoy the story of that time Spider-Man beat up a Herald of Galactus? If y'all like this, I'll keep doing it. If not, I'll find something else to do. But as always, y'all comment, like, and subscribe on whatever you see. Respectfully, on the Be Real with D Real page. And I'll be back with another one of them other ones. And until then, y'all be good to each other.